morning, good evening, good afternoon. And today's video is going to be on NAT, Network Address Translation. So what we'll do is do static NAT, then pooled NAT, and PAT itself, Port Address Translation. So what I'll do is I'll go through the basic configuration of static NAT, which is a one-to-one relationship. So you can see in the diagram, we have the inside and outside network. We'll go into more detail about that later. From R1, I have a default static route to the next hop of R2. R3 has a default static route to R2 and .5, and R2 has static routes for the 11 network and a static route for the 22 network. So just to confirm we have full reachability, from PC2, I could ping the 192.168.11.100, which is PC1 on the left hand side. So I can confirm we have connectivity. What I'll do is I'll start a packet capture on gig 0/1 of R2. And what also I'll do is open up R2's configuration. To do static NAT, let's go into Enable, Config T. Now the first step we need to do is say to R2 what its inside interface is and what its outside interface is. So interface gig 0/0, IP NAT inside. So we've done IP NAT inside, let's do IP NAT outside. So interface gig 0/1, IP NAT outside. And just to double check, we can do a do show IP NAT statistics. And you can see there outside interface and the inside interface. So what I'll do for this demonstration is on PC1, on the 192.168.11.100, when he tries to ping PC2, R2 will remove the source IP address of PC1 and replace it with what we'll use is 192.168.1.5. So it's a one-to-one relationship. So very easy, all you need to do is IP NAT inside source static 192.168.11.100 to 192.168.1.5. Before I hit enter, we'll just go back and do a question mark. You can either put in the inside global IP address you want or the interface itself. So you've seen that we can just put an IP address in. We'll just do interface gig 0/1. Now if we do show IP NAT translations, you can see there the one entry that we have under 192.168.1.5 to 192.168.11.100. So that will permanently be in there as it's a static translation we've set up. So what we can do now is PC1 can ping to 192.168.22.100. And you can see the ping there. So this capture obviously is from R2. And you can see there the source is 192.168.1.5. But it came from 192.168.11.100. That's PC1. So R2 has removed that IP address and put 192.168.1.5. But if we do show IP NAT translation again, you can see there's a lot more entries in there. So to explain the inside global, inside local, outside global. So the way I can remember it is from Keith Barker's videos. Local, always think of Larry the user within the local network. So from Larry's perspective, he is 192.168.11.100. And from the outside aspect, we're going to, so Larry wants to go to 192.168.22.100. And from the global, from the outside aspect, to get to Larry, they need to go to 192.168.1.5. And from the outside perspective, to get to him, keys the exact same IP address, 192.168.22.100 PC2. So the issue we have for this is it's a one-to-one translation. These will remain in until they time out. So you can see it's timed out now. So if we quickly try to ping PC2, it works again. So if we quickly do show IP NAT translation, back to PC1, let's ping .200. You can see that it still works because the translation is for the source aspect. But if we had another PC, for example, another PC within the 11 network, he tried to ping the 22.100, that would not work because the NAT translation is only a one-to-one, so you've already used that translation. Next option we've got is NAT with a pool. So do NAT with a pool. First of all, you have to create the pool of IP addresses. So what we'll do is we'll remove the old config. Okay, so we remove that config. So what we'll need to do is do IP NAT pool. And then we need to give that a name. So let's give it NAT. Then the start IP address 192.168.1.6. And then the end IP address, we'll give it 192.168.1.8. Prefix mask, we'll give it a /24. Don't need to put in the /. So what I need to do is an access list. Give it the number 1. Actually, we'll give it a name, NAT. Hit enter. Permit, so anything within the 192.168.11.0 to so that's just created the access list. So show access lists. So you can see there we have a standard access list with the name of NAT and anything within the 192.168.11/24 with wildcard bits of 0.0.0.255. So back to the NAT with pool. So we'll do IP NAT inside source list, and then the actual list name NAT, and then we're going to say pool and the pool name, which was NAT as well. So that's us created a NAT with pool. So we're saying anything within the 192.168.11.0 network, translate within the IP addresses that we've created within the IP NAT pool. So show IP NAT statistics. Yep. So there we go. Allocated 0. So let's test it. PC1 ping 22.200. Can anybody spot what I've done here? I've used the exact same IP address, which is on the actual R3's interface. So we need to quickly change that. So let's see if we can get the old config up. There we go. Let's do .7 and .10. Because it's already in use, we need to take it out. So no there. Then we say that there. So we've put the NAT pool back in, but we haven't put .6 in because that was causing the issues. And then back into IP NAT inside source list, NAT pool, NAT. So we'll try that again. So since that last recording, I've removed that access list and I've put it in as a number instead. So IP NAT inside source, and then list, we gave it a number of 20, and then we're going to go pool NAT. That should be us. Do show IP NAT statistics. So we'll try that again. It works. It's good to see. So do show IP NAT translations. Now you can see that from the global aspect we are .1.8, even though we're coming from 1.100. So while we wait for that to time out, and I'll do another ping, we should use another one from the pool. Statistics, so we've allocated 1, we've got total addresses of 4, so 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're pinging, let's go 22.100. So that works fine. And you can see there that it's still coming from 1.8 because the translation is still live. So we'll do a do show run begin include IP NAT. So just to go over the config again. So we've got IP NAT inside, IP NAT outside. We've got the IP NAT pool named NAT. Now 192.168.1.7, 192.168.1.10, a prefix length of 24. IP NAT inside source list 20, pool NAT, and show IP access list. We need to get a do in there. And you can see there's my access list saying anything that comes from 192.168.11.0 and a wildcard mask of /24. And then that's obviously anything that comes from that range gets translated. Because if we used R1 and we set a ping, we'll quickly uncover here, you can see that it's coming from 1.2, which is the IP address of R1, so it is not getting translated. So that's us done static NAT and pool NAT. All that's remaining is the good old PAT, port address translation. So this allows you to do NAT was 1-to-1, NAT pool was many to a few, so obviously you're restricted still by the pool address. If you don't have any more than that, then no more IP addresses within that 192.168.11 range would not be able to get out. There's no more IP addresses within the pool that's available, so you would not be able to get to the outside network. So to resolve this, you have PAT, port address translation. It is very similar, but the only thing you have to change is put overload at the end. So what it does is R2 uses the port numbers to assign it to an outside address, and it uses these port numbers on the incoming traffic from the outside network to be able to translate it back to its original IP address. Do a show IP NAT translation. As you can see, there's nothing there at the moment. So IP NAT source list. So we're saying anything within the 192.168.11.0 network on interface gig 0/1, and the keyword is overload. Overload and an address translation. So it's many to one. And it's that straightforward. So now it'll use the 192.168.1.5 as many times as it wants. So anybody, even if we had 1,000 users into the 11 network, they would be able to get out. So from PC 1, we'll send out some pings. See there on the left, it's coming out as 1.5. As you can see, inside local is 192.168.11.100. It's assigned that port number to the inside. It's assigned that port number to the outside local. So when that traffic comes back from 22.100 on that port number, what I could do is IP, we'll change the IP address, 192.168.11.200, 255.255.255.0, 192.168.11.1. We'll send the exact pings out again. Hopefully we can catch it. Fortunately we can't, but you can see there now we can translate from a different IP address without any issues. What I'll do is I'll quickly add in a second PC. Okay, so we've added in a second PC on the 11 network. So what we'll do is we'll just open up both PC 4, PC 1. So we've got R2 at the top, PC 1 at the bottom right, PC 4 at the top left, and the packet capture still in R2. So if we ping 22.100 on that one, ping 192.168.22.100, and then we do a do show IP NAT translation, you can see that the port numbers match across. So there's the 100, there's 200. So they match across each other. So that's how it knows what translation assigns to what. So that's the configuration of static NAT, NAT pool, port address translation. Hope you've enjoyed. Any questions, put it down in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll be uploading next video next week. Thank you.